Hi, I'm Melinda Gann. I'm your statistics professor this semester. I know you're excited. Well, I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to getting to know you and teaching you in class. Now, this is kind of an introductory video just to kind of go over some things that are on the syllabus and kind of make sure that you're aware of kind of the logistics of the way class is going to work. This particular class is too big for all of you to fit in the physical classroom every Monday and Wednesday. So what I've done is I've divided the class into two groups, depending on your last name. So A through H comes to class on Wednesdays, and I through Z comes to class on Mondays. And that's in your email if you need to double check that. So half the time you'll physically be in the classroom and half the time you'll be Zooming. Now, I know that's not ideal. I wish it wasn't that way. Maybe soon it won't be, but right now it is. Now, I did the same thing last semester in statistics, and it worked out really well. So I feel confident that you'll be able to succeed just like they succeeded. Now, let's go over a couple of things that the syllabus is going to tell you, but I physically want to tell you in person to make sure that you understand it. As far as the cohorts work, like I said, we're not meeting class on Monday because that's Martin Luther King Day. Yay. So the first time I will see you will be on Wednesday. So physically in front of me on Wednesdays are going to be the people whose last names are A through H. And if you're I through Z, you'll be Zooming in. Now, there'll be a seating chart that's set up when you physically come to class. You have to sit in that desk every time. The desks are 6 feet apart to make sure that we all stay safe. When you enter the physical classroom, I'm going to ask to see that campus clear, that green screen. And we're in the basement of MCC in MCC 102, and sometimes the Wi-Fi is not great down there. So your best bet is to load that before you come down to the basement, okay? So I'm going to physically ask you to show me that green screen before you walk in class. So you have to have your phone, show me the green screen, come in, sit down, and then put that phone up. If that phone's out, I'm not going to be happy about it. Okay, you need to be paying attention to me, not Instagram. So you have to show me that green screen, and then that phone goes on silent, stuck down in a bag or a purse or kind of whatever, wherever you want to put it. Just can't be out. Okay, I'm going to check attendance on Zoom. I'm just going to look and see who's over there when class starts. So you've got to be on time to get credit for being there if you're on Zoom. I've got to see your face. I can't just see your name. So you've got to physically be in front of that camera for you to be counted present. Now, then, and I'm going to ask to look at your syllabus. So part of your homework assignment is to print and read that syllabus and bring it to class. So if you're on class on Wednesday, I'm going to ask you to physically show me that syllabus. If you come to class the following Monday, and that's the first time I see you in person, I'm going to ask at that point to see your syllabus. So make sure that you print it and read it, okay? That's kind of your first assignment. We'll talk about that in a minute, about grades. All right, so make sure that you come in, show me that campus clear, sit down, get your stuff out, and get ready to go. That's kind of the way it's going to work. I am going to record the classes, and the reason that you got a Zoom invite to Mondays and Wednesdays instead of just Mondays or Wednesdays is in case that you get sick or get put in quarantine because you've been exposed. So do understand, unless you are in quarantine, okay, and I get a list of those people, or you have prior approval from me for some reason, if you're not physically in front of me and that's your day to physically be in front of me, you're counted absent. You're welcome to Zoom and you get the material and that's good, but you won't get credit for being there unless you're supposed to be on Zoom. So you can't just get up and go, you know, I don't really feel like it this morning, I was going to Zoom in. You can do that, but I'm going to count you absent, because I need you to physically be in front of me as much as possible. So part of your job is to come to class. Now, I know it's harder to pay attention on Zoom, but you've got to pay attention. You got to take notes just like you would take notes if you were physically in front of me, okay? And if you leave, I'm going to know because that thing dings. I can hear it ding, and I look over there and see you left, and again, you got counted absent. So, you know, you physically got to be in front of me on a screen or physically got to be in front of me in a desk if you want to get counted present. So do be aware of that. And that's kind of how that cohort thing works, okay? Everybody will take the same test on the same day, though. I use the MCC lobby for that because my secretary, the math department secretary, has a big screen TV in her office and there are cameras all around that lobby. So we can watch just to discourage any temptation to cheat. So everybody will take the same test on the same day. And if I give one test on Monday, I'll make sure the next time I give the test on a Wednesday, just to make it fair. And the only way to get a makeup test from me is if you're on a quarantine list or you got a doctor's excuse. You know, you might not have COVID, but you might have had a sinus infection running 105 fever. Okay, that's legit. Or you got prior approval from me. If you're not on a quarantine list or you don't have a doctor's excuse or prior approval from me, if you miss a test, it's a 0. I don't give makeups in that instance, so you'll need to drop the class at that point. So do make sure that you are aware. You're going to have 3 regular tests in the semester worth 100 points apiece. I'll give you at least in weeks notice that you're going to have a test. I'm not going to tell you on Monday you got a big test on Wednesday because you've got other things to plan for, and I'm aware of that. And then your final exam is comprehensive. So 3 regular tests and a final exam are your big tests. Now, to keep you current and paying attention, I do give pop tests. So I'm not going to give pop tests on Zoom. So you have to be physically in front of me. All right. So but now if you're on Zoom and they're taking a pop test in class, I would go ahead and take the pop test even though it doesn't count. In other words, I try to work the problem because I'm going to go over the answer at the end just to see how you're doing. I'm also going to give some videos to watch, and you're going to take pop tests off of those, and you have a certain window to do that. So I make sure that I tell you when I post it and when it closes. So you will answer questions off of the video, and those will be pop tests. So make sure that you keep up with those, and I don't take late submissions for any reason. So as soon as they're posted, you need to go ahead and do that in case something were to come up or you were to get sick. So, and I don't give makeup pop tests, and they're worth 10 points apiece, and I give them kind of along during the semester. They come pretty regularly though because I only see you half the time. So do make sure you come to class ready to take a pop test. I just add all your points up at the end of the semester, so the points count the same. So 10 points on a pop test is going to affect your grade just as much as 10 points on a big test. So if you're absent 3 times, and I only drop 1, I give enough so I can drop 1 pop test grade at least. So, but you have 3 zeros, that means 2 of those zeros are going to stay there. So that means you're going to be missing 20 points at the end. That's like taking your first test grade and dropping it 20 points. So the pop test, and the reason I give them is it helps you stay current because I'm not going to take your homework up and grade it. My philosophy of homework is that's where you're learning through the material. And I'm not, and we all make mistakes as we learn. That's part of the natural process. And they're not going to penalize you for doing what you're supposed to be doing. But I know if I don't hold you accountable in some way, you'll mean to do your homework, but you just won't get around to doing it. So if you're doing your homework and do well on your homework, you're going to do well on the pop test. So that's the reason for kind of, and it also helps you kind of realize, oh, I thought I knew how to do that, but apparently I don't. I'd rather you discover that before you take a big test on a grade that I cannot drop. So the pop tests are kind of help you kind of self-assess and need to kind of assess you along the way, and to encourage you to do your homework and stay current. And so at the end of the semester, I just add up all your points. So if you have 90 to 100% of the total points at the end of the semester, then you have an A. If you have 80 to 89% of the total points, you have a B. So the test and the pop test are where the grades come from. So I'm counting on you to do your job. So part of your job is to be in class and paying attention. The other part of your job is to do your homework, because if you don't do your homework, you're not going to do well on your pop tests, okay? And then the other part of your job is to let me know when you need some help. Everybody needs some help sometimes. It's not a sign of intelligence. So most people get stuck on some section at some point. So if that happens, you need to let me know I need some extra help. And you can do it one of 2 ways. We can either set up a one-on-one Zoom meeting so that you really can be way away from me, not get sick or anything. That makes you feel safer and more comfortable. Then we can certainly set up a one-on-one Zoom and do it that way. And I've got a whiteboard in my office, so you can see me work problems and that kind of thing. Or some people really do better when it's face-to-face. So if you want a face-to-face meeting, we'll just do face-to-face in the conference room upstairs. That way I can make sure that we're 6 feet apart or more so that you're safe and I'm safe. So, but don't be lost and just not say anything. You spend a lot of money to come to MC. I don't get any of it, but you know, you got to part with it. So I hope you feel like you get your money's worth. So a lot of times, 15 minutes for me, with me, sometimes will help you find kind of a thinking or a logic error more quickly than say digging it out an hour and a half by yourself, and you've got other things to do. So 15 minutes is easier to fit in your schedule than that hour and a half. So that's kind of the way grades and tests are going to work during this semester. I know that's the part that you really want to know about. As far as supplies, you are going to need a calculator, a TI 83 or 84. If you don't own one, then you know, get one. I don't care if you borrow it every time for class, but you're going to need it every time Zoom and in person. Or whether you buy one, get a refurbished one. It shouldn't cost that much. Most of you probably have one. But if you don't, you're going to need one because a lot of programs are programmed into that machine that if you don't have, you have to do a whole lot of extra work by hand. And most people don't want to do a whole lot of extra math computations by hand. So make sure that you go ahead and start getting that. You're going to need your book. I'm not going to make you buy a book you don't use. Most of your homework comes out of that book. So you're going to need that book day one. So Wednesday, we start with the material. So you're going to need that book ready to go on Wednesday. I don't care if it's an electronic copy or if it's a hard copy. That's kind of your choice. But you do need to bring it to class, whether it's uploaded on your laptop or whether it's the physical book. Because sometimes I need you to open the book and turn to a page and look at a picture or work a problem in a certain section, you know, on a certain page. So make sure that you physically have that calculator and that book with you all the time. All right. I'm trying to think of what else. I am going to ask you to check your campus clear. So when you walk in the room, you're going to have that green screen ready to go, and you sit in that assigned seat physically when you're in class. If that green screen's not on, you're not coming in. I can't chance, you know, infecting anybody. So do make sure that you're aware of that. You have to be masked up. So do make sure you have your mask, you know, and you're ready to go. It needs to stay over your mouth and your nose all the time. I know it's uncomfortable, you know, it's a little bit awkward, but you know, we'll all live. I wear a shield so that you can see my face and understand me a little bit better. So you have on the mask, I'll have on the shield. We're 6 feet apart, we're all gonna be safe, okay? Do understand that if you need help, make sure you ask for it. That's kind of your part of your job. So remember, your job is to come to class and pay attention, take notes, and be ready to work. Do the homework assignments as they're assigned. I encourage you to make some friends and do a study group. Now, I don't want you more than 6 feet together. I mean, I don't want you closer than 6 feet. So probably the easiest way of doing that is you can set up, you know, Zoom meetings with friends, and y'all can do homework together and study together, you know, on your laptop. You don't have to even leave. So, you know, rather than trying to find maybe a room where you can all meet that's that big, just set up a little Zoom cohort of your own and do homework together and study for tests together. I think that's really smart to do. But however you do it, do those homework assignments. And let me know if you need some help. If you know, that's your third part of what you're doing. If you do your job, you're going to be successful. If you don't do your job, you're probably not going to be successful. So most of it's kind of in your court. I do know what I'm doing. I've done it a long time. I am going to video the classes so that you can always rewatch something that you didn't quite get the first time. Or if you're too sick to Zoom in, then when you get better, go back and rewatch those YouTube videos. So I'll make sure that you have access to those YouTube. They're just public YouTube videos. And so I'll make sure that you know kind of what the channel is so you can subscribe to it if you want to. So you should be good to go, I think. I'm really looking forward to having you in class. Your first pop test is going to be to show me that printed syllabus. So I'm telling you straight up, that's your first 10 or 0. There's no partial credit on this. So, you know, on Wednesday, if you're physically coming to class on Wednesday, I'm going to ask, and I'm going to either get a 10 or a 0 at that point for your first pop test grade. If your day to physically come to class is Monday, then the following Monday, I'm going to ask to see that printed syllabus. And again, that's your first pop test grade, a 10 or a 0. So make sure that you're doing your homework assignments as they're assigned. If you have class on Wednesday, start that homework on Wednesday night. Don't wait till Sunday night. This is not a class you play catch up in, where you can, you know, catch up all that homework on Sunday. It just doesn't work that way. If you get lost as you go, let me know as soon as you get lost. I can't teach you, you know, 4 weeks worth of material in 30 minutes on a Zoom, tutoring session. So it's easier to do it kind of as you go. So I am so looking forward to having you in class. Make sure that you read the syllabus. That way I'm going to ask when you're physically in class if you've got any questions, something you didn't understand. It's going to tell you that as soon as I check that campus clear, that phone goes up. I don't want to see it out. If it's out after I start class, then I'm going to ask you to leave, because Instagram's more exciting than me, but it's not on your test. So, and it distracts you and it distracts other people. So that thing goes on silent, either in your pocket, in your book bag, wherever, but it can't be out unless you've got prior approval from me for some reason. Maybe your dad's having surgery and your mom's gonna, text you. Well, then you got to explain that to me and you get approval from me to leave that on silent on your desk. So unless you've got prior approval, you show me that campus clear, then that phone goes up and off. So I think I've gone over most of the things, but sometimes I forget. So you print and read that syllabus. If there's anything you need, you let me know. Stay current with that homework. Bring that book. Read that book. I don't make you buy it if you don't need it. I'm not going to take homework up for a grade. So like I said, I encourage you to work on homework together. So test, we've talked about 3 big tests and a final comprehensive exam. Pop test to keep you current. Homework so that you do well on the pop test and know what you don't know and what you do know. Make sure that you do extra homework if you need to. We'll talk about this in class a little bit. But you need to do enough homework so that you get at least 80% right the first time you check the back of the book. Because I think you want an A or B on your test. So I will see you in class on Wednesday or the following Monday. And if you're not in class, I'll see you on Zoom. I'm looking forward to teaching you this semester. Hope you have a great weekend.